What really happens if you don't pay your medical bills? Can an unpaid medical debt wreck your life? Today I'm breaking it all down step by step and showing you some protections you actually have that they don't want you to know about. Let's start with the immediate consequences. Here's the deal. Most doctors and hospitals, they want you to pay within 30 days of treatment. That is pretty standard. If you miss that deadline, here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna get a letter in the mail. It'll be polite. Can you please pay now? It's overdue. Here's what you owe. Here's how you pay. You could get hit with late fees or even interest, even at this early stage, but whether they actually charge you depends on two things. The paperwork you signed when you got treated, so check that, and the rules in your state. Yeah, that matters. Some places like New York and Maine, they put limits on late fees, but a lot of states don't. And federal law doesn't protect you here. There's no cap on interest. Bottom line, after 30 days, you may start seeing extra charges, you may not. All comes down to where you live. Collections. Okay, you do nothing. You don't have the money. You're paying your mortgage, you're putting food on the table for your family, you're paying the electric bill, the medical bill, that can wait. Right? Not urgent. So you let it sit. Sometime between 90 and 180 days, your debt will likely be sent to a collection agency. That's when the calls and letters really start, and they can get aggressive fast. But do they have any teeth? Do they really have any power? They seem like bullies, but do they actually have power? Now, by law, they have to send you a written notice. It's called a debt validation letter within the first 5 days of reaching out. It'll tell you how much you owe, who you owe it to, all that. Whatever you do, hang on to that letter. It might just save you later. I'm going to explain a little later in the video. Now, getting chased for money is terrifying, but there are rules. Here's the deal. Can they call you at work? Well, they can try once. Tell them no personal calls allowed. They legally have to back off. Oh, and no calls before 8 a.m. or after 9 p.m. either. Can they call your family? Kinda, but it's super limited. They can only ask how to find you. They can't blab about your debt to your mom, to your best friend, or your boss, or complain about things. Only your spouse or your lawyer can hear the full story. Deception and intimidation. Absolutely not allowed. They can't pretend they're cops, pretend you're about to be arrested, threaten to hurt you, lie about how much you owe, any of that. If it happens, report them immediately. They get huge violations. The Fair Debt Collection Practices Act protects you from being treated unfairly. You may even be entitled to compensation. Yeah, they can owe you money. Am I alone? Big question. Get ready for a crazy fact here. Medical bills are the #1 type of debt sent to collections in America. #1. You're definitely not alone. Over 100 million people in the US are battling significant medical debt right now. And guess what? All that debt adds up to over $200 billion. Yeah, it's not credit cards, #1, not car loans, it's hospital bills. #1 debt. So if you're stressed about this, and if you're watching this video, you probably are, you are in good company. I got your back though, because we got a lot to talk about here, and I'm gonna help you. What about your credit score? A delinquent account can severely ding your credit. That makes it harder to get approved for loans, credit cards, getting a mortgage, even renting an apartment. Now, back in 2022, something great happened. Credit bureaus gave us a break. They announced that medical debts under $500 wouldn't show up on your credit report, and even more, unpaid bills would have a 12-month grace period before affecting your score at all. In 2025, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau aimed to go even further, planning to remove medical debt from credit reports entirely. But hang on, there are now legal challenges. There's now a freeze that's been placed on that. So for now, it's the 2022 rules that are still your best bet. Anything under $500 doesn't impact your credit, but over $500, yeah, it does. But there's some good news. If you eventually pay it off, it gets completely removed from your credit report. No lasting damage. Am I in trouble legally? Good news here. You aren't going to jail for this. Don't worry. It's a civil matter, not criminal. But here's where it gets tricky and a little scary. If you're sued and you ignore the court summons or fail to appear, you could be held in contempt of court. That can result in arrest, but not for the debt itself, only for ignoring a legal order. So while medical debt doesn't land you in jail, ignoring the legal process can. Don't do that. Collection agencies or even the original hospitals, they can take you to court. If they win, it gets bad. You can end up with a court judgment against you. That's when things get ugly. The judgment could mean wage garnishment. That means they get in there and take a chunk of your paycheck before you even see it. They can even freeze your bank account, or worse, they can put a lien on your house, meaning you can't sell it, you can't refinance it, nothing without paying off that debt first. Even crazier, you can be chased in the afterlife. Yeah, if you still have unpaid medical debt when you die, creditors can go after your estate to get paid during the probate. That means the funds in your bank accounts, your investments, your property, other possessions, whatever you got, could be used to settle the debt, potentially leaving less for your kids or your grandkids. So one bright spot here. Life insurance, 401ks, and some trusts, they're usually safe, but other assets, not so much. So outstanding medical bills can really affect what's left for your family. So if you've been thinking about letting that debt slide, it's time to face the reality. The longer you wait, the harder it gets, and the legal consequences could leave you scrambling. You don't want it to end up here, okay? Heads up, and this is big. Debt collectors want to cut a deal. They sound aggressive on the phone, but they want to cut a deal. They do it all the time. They'd rather get something than nothing. It makes sense, right? So negotiate with them. They're usually open to a settlement. Here's proof it works. On Reddit, this person wrote, "When my son was born, I said, I don't know how I'll ever pay this off since my copay is more than my annual salary. They gave me hardship forms to fill out and then forgave the debt. So yeah, just call them." Do you even owe them money? Yeah, that's a real question, and I want to talk about it here. Medical billing mistakes are very common. Happens more than you think. We're talking double charges, incorrect services, insurance screw-ups, you name it. One study said up to 80% of medical bills contain errors. 8 out of 10. So before you throw in the towel and just believe them, always ask for an itemized bill. It's your right. There are tons of stories online about this, like this one. I was charged like $30,000 for an appendix removal. This included an 18-hour hospital bed stay. I asked for an itemized list with charge codes. I Googled the codes myself. I was legitimately being charged 3 times the amount for supplies that I can buy from medical stores online. I complained they were overcharging me. I was such a nuisance, they came to a settlement with me. If I can pay within 14 days, they would only charge me $3,000. Sure beats $30,000. Don't pay until you're 100% sure the bill is legit. And remember earlier in the video I told you to hang on to the collections letter that you first get when they contact you? Here's why. If there's ever a dispute or an error, you have written proof now of what the collector claimed. And there's another reason too. If the debt gets sold to another agency, which happens a lot, you can track the paper trail and protect yourself from duplicate charges or scams. That happens a lot too. So how can you avoid all this? You've got options. First, call the hospital billing office. I know it's the enemy, but don't be afraid to pick up the phone. Ask about financial assistance programs they may offer. A lot of them do. Many hospitals, they got them, and it's worth asking. Next, see if you can set up a payment plan. Hospitals would rather get something from you than send your debt to collections for pennies on the dollar, right? Again, just like the collections people, something versus nothing. There are also nonprofit credit counselors who can work with you and actually negotiate for you. A couple of them with good reputations are called $4 and the HealthWell Foundation. I'm gonna put the links to those in the description of this video so you can easily get there. And here's a secret most people don't know. Some hospitals will actually erase your bills if your income is low enough, but here's the catch. You've got to ask them, it's not automatic. So if you make a very low amount of money, get proactive, call them and tell them that. Bottom line, hospitals want to get paid, but they also understand people are struggling. So don't just sit there feeling helpless. Reach out to them. You may be surprised what's possible. Ignoring a medical bill can wreck your finances. You won't go to jail, but it can wreck you financially long after you're gone. If you act fast, you can avoid the worst damage. Have you ever had a legal issue because of a medical debt? I'm actually curious to hear about this. Tell us all about it. Drop a comment here. Like this video. It really helps support our work. And subscribe so you can see our content before anyone else. We're always here and we're always trying to help.